second attempt to feed the ballot in the PCOS machine, it went well. I hope my vote will be counted.
I'm sure naman kasi, di ba, after you put it in, meron kayo makikita congratulations. So you saw that naman before you even left the
Yes, I saw
right?
that.
Oh, that's great.
Yes,
that means your vote was counted. How about you naman, Angel? Anything that you saw there na hindi ka nais-nais?
Wala naman. It was really efficient for me. I was done in around 15 to 20 minutes. And the nice thing was, yung barangay kasi I'm registered in Batangas. So it's a small town in Batangas.
Wow, okay.
Yes. And the nice thing was, beforehand, yung barangay, nag-distribute sila ng voters information sheet.
Okay.
So your precinct number is there, your number in the list is there. So hindi mo na kailangang hanapin sa labas ng classroom. So it's really fast. And the machine took in my ballot right away. So I was done very fast.
Oh, that's great. Voters information sheet. Pero meron ba kayo nakita ng iba? Kasi, like for example, sa precinct ko, as soon as I got it, may lumapit sa aking babae. Kasi sabi niya, ma'am, ito po yung mga sample ballot. Sabi ko, teka, sample ballot? Bawal po yan dito. Sabi ko sa kanya. Sabi sa akin, ay, ma'am, kasi nilapitan ko lang po kayo kasi po gusto ko lang, kasi po, gusto ko lang po kayo lapitan para po magbigay sa ito. Sabi ko, bawal po yan eh. Yeah, within 30 meters, actually, I said within 30 meters, atras na lang siya. Pero alam mo yun, yung parang, didn't you know that this is actually bawal? So, that's what I experienced, and I heard na marami din naka-experience na ganyan. Sa inyo, wala ka naman napansin.
Actually, my first time to vote was in 2010, and that time marami outside the school. I'd always vote in the morning. And in 2010, even my mom was telling me sobrang dami that time. Compared with now, wala naman akong nakita. I'm not sure if it's because I was early or, I mean, I hope they really followed the instructions this time.
So much better talaga this time.
Yes.
Nga pala, before I go back to you, Angel, and of course, Professor, base po sa partial unofficial tally ng GMA News, pasok po sa top 12 sina Po, Legarda, Escudero, Cayetano, Binay, Angara, Aquino, Pimentel, Trillanes, Estrada, Villar, at si Honasan. So, nga pala, Professor Aro, I just want to ask you, so tingin mo ba, manifestation o prueba na naman to na hindi matibag-tiba ng mga political dynasty sa Pilipinas? Kasi as we can see sa listahan na to, marami sa kanila galing sa pamilya ng mga politiko.
Alam mo, Lynn, noon pang dekada 80 kasi itinutulak yung anti-political dynasty law. Pero ayaw maipasa, hindi ito maipasa-pasa talaga.
Kasi
kaya
Professor,
lumalabas
paano siya, kasi Professor, I'm just wondering, paano siya maipapasa kung ang mga taong magpapasa nito ay siya mga nakaupo, galing sa mga pamilya na dynasty na talaga.
Kaya nga kinakailangan talaga ng makabuluhang pagsusulong. Hindi lang mula dun sa House of Representatives at sa Senado, kundi pati mula dun sa mga tao na kasi ang problema sa kasalukuyang kalakaran sa ating halalan, hindi talaga natin masasabi na yung nananalo sa bilangan yun talaga yung sentimiento ng mga tao. Kailangan din nating mabahala sa kasalukuyan dahil lumalabas din dun sa partial unofficial counting ng PPCRB na may double counting daw dun sa kanilang pagbibilang. Kaya nga sinuspindi nila pansamantala ngayong gabi, di ba? Kaya dapat na maging mapagmatyag talaga at mapagbantay yung mga mamamayan tungkol sa nangyayaring halalang ito. Yung top 12 ngayon dun sa partial unofficial count ng PPCRB tsaka ng iba pang polling monitoring group, magandang tingnan ng mabuti kung ano na nga bang klaseng halalan meron tayo at kumbaga parang it's a case of limited choices right now Parang dun sa 33 kumakandidatong senador, parang hindi mo talaga ma-pressure yung sarili mo na 12 lang yung pipiliin mo. Kung tatanungin mo ako, Lynn, kung sino yung binoto ko, sasabi ko, mababa sa 12 yung aking napili dahil wala ka talagang mapagpilian.
Kumbaga parang notice ko, parang recycled. It's the people who ran before, who had posts before, that they're just kumbaga re-entering.
At kung sino man yung bago, Lynn, parang pamilyar yung kanyang apelyido. At parang binoto siya dahil lang sa kanyang apelyido o dahil sa kanyang tatay o nanay. Alam mo naman siguro kung sino 'yon, no?
I can already feel it actually. So, nga pala, kay Angel naman, ano sa tingin mo ang epekto ng social media sa naging pagboto ng mga kabataan? Do you think it helped at all? Kasi sa like Facebook and Twitter, narinig natin yung mga batikos na nakukuha ng ibang mga, like yung mga minention nga ni Professor or not really mentioned, no? So, do you think social media helped in a good way?
Yes, I think it helped in a good way. I'm a big social media fan myself, and
also.
I think yung nagawa niya is of course it has pros and cons, but more than anything, I think during the election yung nagawa ng social media parang na-disseminate yung power. Before kasi it was just yung mga kumakandidato and then the traditional media covering it, but now everyone has nalulunod tayo sa information. Everyone has access to information. I'd like to think it's more difficult for people to cheat now because we can so easily shame them, and sana nahihiya nga sila. Pero it really, I think it really distributes the power, and sa amin sa kabataan parang kung makikita mo yung newsfeed ko, halimbawa punong-puno ng mga tao na pinicturean nila yung daliri nila na may indelible ink.
Yes.
And nakakatuwa yun because, voting is cool.
It is.
Contributing,
it really is.
Contributing to your country in that sense is cool. So, even if it has cons and it does, I think mas nakatulong siya, yung social media, and it definitely changed the election landscape.
More positive than negative. And I think more than that, parang mas may takot ngayon yung ilang mga politicians to do what they're not supposed to do because of social media. Anyway, do you think, yung kay Professor naman, Professor, do you think, because, di ba, nakikita natin ngayon sa listahan sila, Erap, Herbert Bautista, Dilma Santos Recto, leading sila. So, inasahan ba natin yung mga resultang ganito na marami sa mga artista? Siyempre, meron silang extra oomph, kumbaga eh. They have an advantage over everybody else. Do you think this is expected?
Lahat naman ng tao ay may karapatang tumakbo, kaya lang ang problema kasi kapag ang pagpili sa kandidato ay batay lamang sa kanilang kasikatan, medyo nagkakaroon ng problema. Yung tinatawag na celebrityfication ng ating halalan ngayon ay bunga ng frustration, collective frustration din ng mga tao dun sa klase ng mga leader na meron tayo. Minsan iniisip nila pagka hindi makaya ng politiko, baka pwede naman siguro yung artista. Kasi ang artista, malaki na yung talent fee, tulad mo, Lynn, di ba?
Kaya, wish ko lang.
Anyway, no, I'm just kidding. But the point here is, dahil medyo malaki na yung kinikita nila, baka naman hindi siguro mangungurakot. Tulad ni Manny Pacquiao, halimbawa, kung papangalanan natin siya, kabaligtaran sa halip na mangurakot siya, baka siya pa yung mamigay ng pera, di ba? So may ganong pagtingin sa mga artista, lalo na yung mga sikat. Pero yung iba pang mga artista na tumatakbo, yung iba naman kasi parang nire-reinvent na lang nila yung sarili nila. Wala na silang career sa show business, kaya sa tingin nila magkakaroon sila ng career sa politika naman. May ganun ding katotohanan na dapat tingnan. Pero yung isa pang aspeto na dapat nating tingnan, yung marriage at yung synergy ng politics at saka show business. Kasi may mga politiko, para mapataas ang kanilang electoral stock, nagiging celebrities din sila. Bagamat wala silang kakayahang umarte, kumanta, sumayaw, pinagpipilitan nila yung sarili nila para maging sikat sa mata ng tao.
Nakikita naman natin sa mga commercial, sa mga ads, di ba? Parang half yata, puro politiko na rin. I think that has something to do with what you're saying, Professor.
Tama yun.
Definitely. So, sa inyong dalawa, Professor, lastly, and Angel, meron ba kayong mga pangalan na hindi inaasahang papasok sa top 15 ngayong sa listahan ng mga senatorial votes?
Okay, I'll go first? Or...
Yes, Professor.
Okay. Ang magandang batayan kasi rito yung mga survey na isinagawa ng Pulse Asia at saka Social Weather Stations. May consistency dun sa ginawa ng Social Weather Stations, particular yung pinakahuli, yung survey period na May 2 at 3. Lumalabas na yung nasa top 15, more or less yun na yun Bagamat medyo nakakagulat na si Grace Poe yung nangunguna sa kasalukuyan, pero masyado pang maagalin para sabihin.
Partial, unofficial. It's very, very minimal pa lang naman to
very minimal pa lang. Kaya mas magandang maghintay tayo hanggang dun sa pagka naka 70% na siguro, we can establish a trend already, and from there we can make a more sound conclusion. Ang medyo disappointing lang ngayon, Lynn, sa eleksyong ito, as far as survey freedom is concerned, walang exit polls na isinagawa yung dalawang survey group, yung Pulse Asia at saka SWS. Siguro kailangang malaman din natin kung bakit hindi nangyari ito. Kasi magandang indicator din yun kung sino nga ba sa tingin natin yung mananalo.
Like you said, it's too early, no? So, Angel, I just want to ask you a different question na lang. Kumpiyansa kayo matatapos sa maaga ng COMELEC ang bilangan? Ilang araw kaya sa tingin nyo? Kasi actually, they're saying supposedly in 2 days. Hopefully,
48 hours.
Perhaps, di ba? Yeah, 48 hours. But what are we looking at?
Well, sa akin sana matapos nila agad. Kasi, di ba, I mean, that's why we're improving the electoral process. That's why we're automating the elections. That's why we're involving so many people. And, you know, that's the goal, that eventually mas magiging mabilis siya. I think it's a great improvement that now I can check the local election results and at least partial and the national election results right at home. I don't even have to open my TV anymore. I can check it online, and that's an improvement. But in terms
that's why we have the E13 hangout.
Yes.
Wait,
but
by the way,
yes.
Isisingit ko lang na as of 9 p.m., 35% na pala nabibilang.
Okay.
Diba? That's what you said. Mabilis nga talaga tayo ngayon. So, yes, you were saying, I'm sorry for cutting you off.
Yes, that's fine. But in terms of paglabas ng COMELEC ng results, halatang-halata naman sa social media, parang when they said na they'll reconvene tomorrow, everyone obviously was so disappointed. Parang, grabe, in this day and age, kailangan mo pa siya itigil at itutuloy mo bukas. Pero, I guess because I'm young and it's only my second time to vote and I haven't seen enough yet, but I'm still idealistic that we're doing this now and maybe things will be better the next time we do it.
Yeah,
so good luck to COMELEC, yeah.
Good luck to all of us. I think it's not so much that we're impatient. I think it's more like we're excited para malaman kung sino ba talaga ang nanalo. And personally, I want to know what they're looking at, what they want to do, what their plans are for the Philippines and for the Filipinos, diba? Kaya, to wrap up, maraming salamat sa Angel. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much too.
And Professor, maraming salamat for joining us also.
You're welcome. My pleasure.
Thank you so much. Ayan. So maraming salamat sa ating mga naging bisita. At yan po ang pagkatapos ng Day 1 ng ating E13 Hangout. Muli ako po si Lynn Ching Pascual. Tandaan po mga kapuso, dapat tama. Kaya pag nakita nyo kanina, I'm sure nakita nyo mga maling-maling gawain sa election day, gaya ng pangampanya at pamimili ng boto, isinumbong nyo kaagad sana sa amin. O isumbong nyo sa amin yan. Siyempre, ipadala nyo po litrato o video sa www.uscoop.tv or tweet at Uscoop. At bukas po alas 11 ng umaga, abangan nyo ang E13 Hangout Day 2. Kasama si Howie Severino, Editor-in-Chief po siya ng GMA News Online. At tatalakay naman po niya ang mga naging mainit at tagpo ngayong election 2030. Napakarami po yan. Para sa inyong mga katanungan at opinion, i-tweet lamang ang GMA o at GMA News. Gamitin lang po ang hashtag na E13 Hangout. Maraming salamat sa inyong lahat sa pagtutok sa E13 Hangout, ang tambayan mo ngayong election 2013. Have a nice evening.